as we say, so we have the result of this year's survey, and maybe let's try to start with an introduction, give a sort of, let's say, preliminary comment on the result of this survey that we will very soon disclose.
Good evening, François. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see many familiar faces here today. Every year, the EACT Treasury Survey gives us a moment to pause and reflect on where we have been, where we are heading to, and the changes in our field. This year, the message is loud and clear. Treasurers are going back to the basics. Cash flow forecasting, long-term funding, and IT infrastructure are on the top of the list. But it's not just about stability and control. It's about building the right foundation so we can move forward in more confidently. Real-time liquidity, APIs, automation, these aren't just buzzwords. They are now becoming essential. As an ATEL board member and someone lucky enough to stay connected to treasurers across Europe, I can say that there is a shared mindset right now. It's time to stop patching things and start building for resilience.
Okay, and so this survey, as you mentioned, showed that the cash flow forecasting remained the top priority, the number one priority for corporate treasurers across Europe. So it's a survey with 300 answers across Europe and across industries. Why do you think that this remains such a persistent challenge? And how are your peers or our peers approaching it differently this year?
Honestly, cash flow forecasting is the cornerstone of everything we do. But it is also one of the hardest things to get right. The volatility we have seen post-COVID, the energy crisis, wars, what is happening currently as well with the US interest rate shocks, it's made long-term visibility incredibly tough. Forecasting isn't just about the numbers anymore. It's about adapting to shifting realities in real time. What's interesting this year is that treasurers are starting to build more flexible scenario-based models. Some are even embedding predictive analytics to anticipate patterns rather than just extrapolate trends. And critically, we are seeing more cross-collaboration with CFOs, with the procurement, even with HR, because forecasting is not anymore just a treasury function, is a company-wide conversation.
Okay, here you can find a view on the major priorities, and you can see that the priorities are very close to each other. But so, as we say, technology is a clear focus, and when we say technology, it's mainly the replacement of existing treasury management system, or let's say implementation of a new system if you don't have something or you just rely on Excel spreadsheet. Before thinking about AI, because I'm sure that Cyril will come with the AI and innovation in the next presentation, but a lot of our peers are still challenging and trying to revamp the system just to improve the system before even thinking about data. So as someone with deep tie to the community, what's holding Treasurer back, and what do you think will tip the scale towards the digital transformation we are all talking about?
That's such a real question. We talk about AI and automation all the time, but many treasuries are still tangled with fragmented legacy system. You will be surprised on how many companies are juggling multiple TMS, local bank portals, Excel files, and outdated ERP integrations. It's hard to think about AI today when we are still reconciling our bank statement of yesterday manually. The shift will for sure happen, but it will be incremental. What's encouraging is that more treasurers are turning to modular fintech solution to fill the gaps. Whether it's real-time dashboard, cash pooling tools, or API to clean up connectivity, I think the real tipping point will be when CIOs and treasury teams start speaking the same language. Digital transformation is not anymore an IT project, it's a financial strategy.
And so, interestingly, ESG is still in the priorities we saw in the former slides. So financial regulations is not a top priority, but we work quite a lot at the ESCT level. As some of you know, we need to lobby and to advocate just to make sure that the new regulations are not, let's say, against corporate treasurers or creating additional admin burden, especially after the Draghi report, because the idea is to simplify, like in the US, rather than to complexify the rules. We have also the fraud. The fraud is still a lower priority, although we have the impression, and I'm sure that Cyril could comment on that, it's still high in terms of, let's say, problem for corporate treasurers. So do you think that this risk of short-term thinking is important for corporate, and are treasurers simply overwhelmed with more immediate pressures?
It's honestly a bit of both. Treasurers are not ignoring ESG or regulation, but the operational reality is you cannot automate ESG if your forecasting model is still runs on Excel. There is a hierarchy of needs. And right now, foundational topics like cash visibility, system integration, and are just more urgent. That said, I think ESG in particular is underestimated. Some treasurers are already aligning KPIs with sustainability goals like green bonds or ESG linked facilities, but many more are waiting for guidelines. And the association's role in advocacy helps take more regulatory weight off our shoulders, but the reality is we all need to stay engaged. On fraud, I just want to add it's always a risk, but the best defense is the standardization, automation, and internal controls. If you have that, so at least you are covering this part. And those only come after the basics are fixed. So it's not neglected, it's about prioritization.
Yeah, about fraud, we can mention the white paper we have issued with the ACT about GLAIF and the legal entity identifier, because the verification of pay is coming. I guess it's the 9th of October that it should be applied across Europe for all the Euro payment, not only the instant payment, so we'll see. But we have some technicalities and some issues that we are still working on. Maybe final comment or closing remark?
Yeah, I think that what this survey shows us most is clarity. Treasurers are laser focused on what matters. Yes, the future is digital, but the groundwork still needs to be led. We are not being left behind. We are building smart, and with the incredible, energy that we have, I think today with the treasurers, I think we are on the right path.
Okay, and just maybe thanks for your comment, just to refer to two documents. So the survey 2024, I'm sure Cyril will comment on that, but the 25 will come very soon. It has been, let's say, reviewed by some of our members. So I promise that in the next 10 days it should be out. And also the manifesto, it's interesting, you can find it on the EACT website. It gives you the guidelines and the priorities for the real economy in terms of financial regulation. So it's a quite interesting document that is quite generic, because we are, let's say, aiming at explaining to non-treasurer what treasury is and why it's important for the real economy. So if you have time, I really encourage you to have a look at the two documents. Sanae, thanks a lot for your comment.
Thank you, François. Thank you.